So, Amoshakya Mudaye Buddhaya, respected Thầy, dear Sangha, brother and sister friends, let us sit beautifully. You may close your eyes to follow your breathing. Breathing in, you know that you are breathing in. Breathing out, you know that you are breathing out. And just feel your body is here. Feel your breath as it is. So you can listen to the sound of the bell. So dear noble community, today is Sunday, October 16, I think, 2022. Today is a happy day. We just enjoy the beautiful walk up to Yangtze Mountain. But also now we open up for the session of questions and answers from the heart. So we already gone through one month of the rain retreat, 2022. That's wonderful. The things happening is happiness, a lot of peace and joy happening. So we enjoy that. So today we open up for questions and answers from the heart. It's wonderful to have a time to ask the questions. And we up here, myself, Brother Mante, Brother Insight. Next to me, Brother Phạm Nhĩ, Brother Dharma at ease. Sister Túc Nghiêm, Sister smiling, Túc Nghiêm. And Sister Phu Nghiêm. Yeah. So we are here for you. And also you are there for us. But we need you to come here. Okay? So is there any of you've been practicing with us last month, especially for long-term, for friends come together with us? Or even you will come for the days that come few days, few weeks, for a long time. That we have some questions that really from your hearts. The question that really concerns about your life, about your happiness, about your suffering, about something that you want to do something for your life, something that concerns to your family, to the society, something that you want to learn, you want to grow. And the good questions, our teacher said that the good question can benefit a lot to the people. And you can ask the question for yourself, but also you can ask the question for your family and for your friends. And also the good question don't need to be very long, concise, straight to the heart. So we are up here. English is like we are, like English is our second language. So we try our best to share also from our hearts, from the experiences we've been practices about. So please, if you have any question, please come up here one by one. Today we don't have a long time. We just have less than 1 hour, actually. So please come up here. You can sit. And then the next one and the next one, we open for maybe about 4 or 5 questions. And we try our best to share, to answers from our hearts. Okay, is that clear for everyone? Something like your heart beating very fast, it means something is calling you. Genevieve, please come. The way we do is we sit and then follow your breathing. And we listen to one side of the bell to really check in your heart. What is in there you really want to ask. Okay? And we are aware that the answers, we have 50% from your heart already, and the 50% from us, to share our experiences about that. So that maybe you can open up your direction, open up the way for you to look into, to practice. Justin, please come closer. Justin, move close to her. Yeah? Maybe 1 or 2 more, please come. And you can look to the audience, to the Sangha, to smile. And also follow your breathing, so that we can be wonderful to sit together and experience together. So let us listen once out the bell and go back to our body and our mind.
Dear Thai, dear Sangha, dear brothers and sisters, I'm curious about suffering. Because I've been living here for almost a year, I feel like I've had an opportunity to watch my feelings and mental formations like falling and rising in sort of like a laboratory setting. And now that I've been able to watch it regularly, I've been noticing a familiar, like painful feeling that arises, and it's interesting because I can recognize that it's been arising throughout my life, but in the past, I would see it arise and I would think that it was, it's because of this condition, or this person is causing me the suffering, or this situation is causing me this feeling to arise. But now, more recently, I'm able to see that feeling coming up and see, oh, it's interesting. It's the same feeling, but it's with a different person or a different situation, but the feeling is the same. And so I'm wondering, since you've been in this practice a lot longer and lived here much longer than I have, if you've had a similar experience with like a familiar suffering and a feeling, and then sort of the journey with that, like how it has transformed, or maybe it hasn't, or any experiences that you've had with something like that.
So dear Sangha, dear Genevieve, thank you for your question. And Yes, we've been here longer than you, but we are the practitioner. We practice every day. Um, the other morning, we have a guided meditation, I think Saturday morning, guided meditation about recognizing jealousy, something, whatever the minds come up, and we just smile to it. And I really resonated with that. Actually, been doing every day and in our whole life. We practice not running away from the suffering. The sufferings also come and go, and the feelings the same. The feelings come and go, and the feelings changing actually is not the same. You think it's the same, but actually it's not never the same. When you look deeply, that's slightly different, but you don't pay attention to that. Everything is changing. But look like you feel the same that sadness, the same happiness. But I see you, I feel happy the same, but it's not like that. Maybe you feel happier a little bit, or you feel that happiness deeper a little bit, or you feel like that's like a normal and you take for granted. That is from your mind. Not like that is everything is the same. But every moment when I practice this is like we look at the feelings like a river flowing and never stop actually. And when you, sometimes it's neutral feeling. You sit there but you don't feel anything. But that also the feeling of neutral. And sometimes it's like a joyful feeling, happy feelings, because you feel you like it. Make you feel happy. You feel content about that. Or sometimes you feel very sad. You feel you don't like it. So, pleasant feelings, very pleasant in yourself. And then neutral feeling, you sit there and then look like, I don't like to go out. I just sit there, but I feel nothing. But also the kind of feeling. The practitioner is look at that within and to recognize what it is and smile to that. But when you practice very well, you practice longer, you practice every day, you feel that. You can make that neutral feeling become the happy and pleasant feelings. And unpleasant feelings, you can smile to it, and that gives you the space to understand, the space to give rise of acceptance, give rise of compassion, to embrace it, and to be friend to it. And that kind of unpleasant feeling become like pleasant feeling later on. Help you. So, for me, it's like every day I practice feel look like very joyful, but sometimes when I sit back to enjoy tea, the things in the days come up again. It's a thing that is like someone talk to me, someone approach to me, and I don't understand why that person is like act in that way. And that moment, actually, I feel a little bit like unpleasant. But look like go through the day and that is passed by, and I don't pay attention to that. But when I sit very still, that's come up again, and I feel that kind of feeling unpleasant in my body. So I breathe in and recognize it, and I really be present for that. And breathing out, I smile to that. So we should have some time to sit and to understand little every day. That's why it's tricky because our body, because have too much activities. Sometimes it's the things pass by, but you don't pay attention to that. And look like neutral feeling, but because you are not mindful about that. But if you pay attention to that, you know that I'm have feeling of neutral feeling. Today, there is no sun, there's cloud, but I feel I don't want to do anything. And I sit, but I don't like it. But I don't like to walk around. But you also recognize that's going on in your body, right? So, yeah, so mindfulness of breathing, mindfulness of walking is helps. Mindfulness of sitting is help. Really be there for you. Recognize what it is. And and smile to that. Yeah, so I think I feel sometimes we take for granted, like, that is not, yeah. Because sometimes it's neutral feeling or something not special, you don't pay attention to that. Sometimes you do feel you do suffered, you cry, and you feel, okay, that's my suffering. I need to stop to look at that. Sometimes, like the brother and sister make you feel smile and joyful every day. That is normal joyful feeling, and you don't pay attention to that until you left the sangha, and that little joy is very special for you. Yeah, so in this course of mindful breathing, there is some exercise about breathing in. I recognize joy in my heart. Breathing out, I enjoy joyful in my heart. So you sit where you let your mind, you make your mind joyful. So that is the way that we produce joy every day. And we be mindful about that joy, and we make that joy grown up. But also we have the exercise to recognize suffering, breathing in, and recognize the unpleasant feeling. The suffering come up in myself. Breathing out, I smile to it. And you just have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just really breathe with that and smile to that, not run away from that. Every time the things come up, just look at that. And the more you do that, you feel like you accept what it is and you don't run anymore. And you feel like there is elements of acceptance, embracing, kind of stronger in your mind. And that is like we practice every day by walking meditation. Walk with what you carry on in your heart. Invite them to walk with you. And you sit, you invite them to sit with you. Invite the unpleasant feeling to sit with you. And the more you practice like that, you change. Yeah. Because every day, if you pay attention, the mind consciousness, the feeling come up. Feeling is one kind of mind consciousness, mind mental formations. And from down here, store consciousness come up as a feeling, come up as a mind consciousness, unpleasant feeling. You recognize to that, and you invite that come back to yourself with your mindful breathing. And you pleasant, you calm your mind. And the more you doing that, actually you understand your mind. And you are make your mind calm. Every day you're doing that, you concentrate. You nourishment the energy of mindfulness and concentration stronger. Okay? So, yeah. So I think that's much I want to share. I don't know if brother and sister want to add more. Thank you for your question.
Dear Thai, dear Sangha, my question is about a comment that the Venerable made. He commented in one of his Dharma talks that often, and this was sometime last year during the Rains retreat, when a lot of people had intentions to be monastics. he commented that sometimes monastics can stay here for like 5, 10, sometimes even 20 years, but they still suffer. Like they'll go back to regular lay life, but I think maybe to paraphrase, it's as if they weren't, that, and they maybe don't transfer their skills to regular life. He also made a comment, I think, about kind of related to this, like your thinking is like a freeway, and through connecting the mind and the body, you kind of go up on like a hot air balloon, and you're sort of watching the cars, like the thinking, the feelings, the emotions, afflictions, all crossing by. But being in the air balloon, like not just watching it all kind of flow. And I guess this brings me to my question. What he said that like one of the biggest things was that when a practitioner, a monastic would breathe in, they would have their mind and their body in the same place, and that doing this kind of leads to like observing the feelings and afflictions in an air balloon. Maybe my confusion was, is there a distinction between, and I might not be getting this right exactly, but putting like the mind and the body in the same place versus maybe just mindful breathing? And yeah, I guess what does it mean to like be in a hot air balloon looking down at like the freeway of my thinking, my like sorrow, my difficulties? And how do you put the mind and the body in the same place? Thank you.
So basically, your question is how do we put our mind and body in the same place? But the long way you explain first.
Okay, so can I speak in Vietnamese? So, dear respected Day, dear brothers, sisters, and Sangha. So what do we do now? Do we talk and stop? Oh. Okay, so I have to speak in English. Oh.
You hear English translation?
Yeah.
You can hear from to the speaker?
Yeah, I can hear myself, and I'm translating. Oh, I see.
Why do we have to
Yeah,
observe our feelings?
tại sao mà mình có
Some feelings are very some.
It's technical difficulties. Xin có vùng lại tiếng Anh phải không? Okay, so it's Sister Túc Nghiêm will share in English.
Brother and sister can add later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dạ con kính thưa em Justin.
Some feelings
Có một số
very
cái
make
cảm
us
thọ
happy,
nó làm cho mình thấy
and
rất hạnh
some
phúc,
feelings
nhưng mà có
make
một số cảm
us
thọ nó làm cho mình
suffering.
uh,
Look like the same question from Janavi. So that's why we have to practice in order we can keep our mind and our body keep straight to along the life. So that's why sometimes we need to practice in order we open ourselves, we connect ourselves to the reality. The reality is our life is flowing moment by moment. So we need to be mindfulness at the moment, breathing, to come back to the present moment with the breathing and the body in the present moment, in order we can live directly to the life at that moment. At that moment we have air, we have friends, we have the life, real life now. So that make with the body and mind together by breathing, aware of your breathing, your breath in and out, and in the present moment with the breath, with the steps you walking, right here, listening and breathing, and know that we are sitting here with the Sangha. And with that state of practice of the mind, breath, and body here, we have the feelings that very solid, very clear. And now we live very happy enough, happy because we have all conditions good, water, the good seeds in us, seeds of happiness, seeds of joyful now, because now, like that, like this, very firm body and mind, very stable, very solid, very happy. We can keep, we can taste, we can live happily in this now. But mindfulness come, so that you ask how can we bring mind and body to the present moment. We do that in order we live clear and wisely for the life. The life offer to us the earth, the trees, the Sangha, the Dharma, and the good condition for life here and now. Why don't we live in a happy moment, in the present moment? Why don't we let our carry away of the feelings, but very cloudy feelings, not clear feelings, not right feelings. The feelings of so make me us to bath in the out of the present moment. Present moment, we have the good condition, happy moment. So, yeah, you have all of us have the good, lucky. We are lucky enough to have the method, the practice, easy to bring mind and body together, easy by breathing in. You know you're breathing in, out. So keep on like that. Why don't we practice in order we carried away by thought coming, any thought, but sometimes thought not nourish us, not neutral thought, but why don't we practice in order we can live, we see the life here and now, and we can real living. So that's why we need to practice in order we very live real life for our life, real living for our life. Very good to have the opportunity to have the Sangha to practice together. The Sangha nourish us, open the activities for us to participate, to practice. Walking meditation session, that is the nourished way for us to bring us back to the present moment. Why don't we practice? And the practice easy. Breathe and step in the present moment. Keep it. Thank you.
Dear most respected Thai, dear Noble Sangha, I just recently learned that our feelings comes for about 90 seconds. So when a feeling arises, it lasts about 90 seconds. And if we're a practitioner, we learn to let go, then that feeling would go away in 90 seconds. But if we are still practicing, sometimes we don't want it to let it go for some reasons. Then not only 90 seconds, we hold on to it. So the time of the feeling, it lasts longer because we hold on to it. So that's why there are times that some feeling lasts longer than others. And what we want to do, because also feeling is just a very small part of our of who we are, very small. But sometimes because we get stuck into it, we don't let it go, so that 90 seconds become an hour, 9 hours, 9 years, maybe 9 lifetimes. Who knows? So a lot of time is at least a few hours. So the example that I was giving out, like for example, a feeling are like rivers that is continue to flow. That in that 90 seconds, is that example, it's continue to flow like a river. If we're able to let it go. Or it flow like a cloud. You know, it continue to flow one cloud after another. So it doesn't stay if we're able to let it go. Or like you're on the hot air balloon and then you see a car driving on the freeway. So those are examples to allow us to see clearer what does it mean when our feelings come around. And what does it mean to be ourselves? So to be ourselves is just to watch it. And the feeling is just a very small part that come and go. So all those examples are just to help us see more clear what is happening inside of us. Because sometimes it's hard to see what's inside of us when we don't have visual image. So they are just examples. And there are many other examples that we share. And why do we talk about taking care of our feelings so much? is only because we hold on to it. And sometimes it takes over our life, sometimes it ends our life, and sometimes it can disturb our life for a very long time. So to remember that we are much bigger than that one feeling is very helpful. If it comes, and just remember that we are much bigger than that feelings. And that feeling is just like the clouds coming by, and it will dissipate. And that's already a lot helpful.
Illustration. Okay. Cho nên chúng ta đã mình có thể là quan sát mọi thứ, nhưng mình cũng phải biết trở về để làm chủ cái tâm thức của mình. Giống như con trước khi lên đây, con không biết là các bạn sẽ hỏi những cái gì, nhưng con biết mình phải làm cái gì. Đương nhiên con lên đây để trả lời câu hỏi, nhưng cái đó là không phải cái để mình vì nó đưa mình đi. Cho nên con trở về cái sự thật của mình, làm chủ mình có mặt ở đây bằng mấy thở. Để mình có mặt với cái cảm thọ, cái tâm thức trong con người của mình. Thì con không vì cái suy nghĩ những cảm thọ mà những
Pulled away by my emotions, like what are the friends gonna ask? And so we can be on the hot air balloon to see everything. But we need to understand, we need to know that we are on that air balloon so that we are not dragged away by these things. This emotions, suffering, or positive pleasant feelings or unpleasant feelings cannot be the master of in ourselves. So when we stay on that air balloon, we are the observer. We are recognizing, knowing what is happening within ourselves. And so we are not dragged away. We are not floating with these phenomena. That is what it meant by being present for our minds and for our body. Thank you.
Dear Thai, dear noble Sangha, do you have any recommendations of things that someone should do before they make a deep, long, lifelong commitment, things that someone should do to make sure that their hearts are solid for their lifelong commitments.
Con thấy mình làm sao để mình quyết định một cái đó mà nó vững chãi, mà nó lâu xuyên suốt cả cuộc đời của mình.
That help us be stable for our life long.
Công việc nó gọi như vậy.
Is it true, your question? Is it correct?
Forgive me, I'm having difficulty understanding.
Dạ, con hơi khó hiểu một chút.
I can hear it a little bit, but it's hard.
Con có nghe một xíu nhưng mà nó hơi khó nghe.
I can repeat your question again one more time. Concise.
Before someone makes
Trước khi
life,
một người thực hiện
before someone
làm một
makes
quyết
a
định,
lifelong commitment,
một cam
do
kết
you
mà
have
kéo
any
dài
recommendations
cho cả
of what
cuộc
they
đời của
should do
họ,
first
thì xin quý
to
thầy quý
make
sư
sure
cô có
that
thể
their
cho
hearts are
con lời
solid
khuyên
for
là
their
họ cần
commitments?
phải làm điều gì trước để cho họ có thể vững chãi cho cái cuộc đời của họ không?
Ngày xưa có được cái quyết định.
In the past, before I made the decision to become a monk,
Có mất rất là nhiều thời gian.
it would take me a lot of time
Vì con biết rằng
because
cái
I know
cuộc đời xuất gia là một
that
yếu tố rất là quan trọng.
monastic life is a very important decision.
Nếu như mà
If
ở cái phong tục Việt Nam nhất là ở Huế,
like in the culture in Vietnam, especially in Huế, the central of Vietnam,
một người mà đi tu mà trở
if a
về
person
thì một điều rất là
who has been ordained and then
xã hội cho gia đình.
for some reason they come back to lay life, that would be an shame for their whole family.
Đó là một cái ý niệm, một cái khái niệm.
So that is a notion, that is a kind of convention that
Gắn đặt cho một người xuất gia đi về đời.
that's deep in the culture of Huế, in the central of Vietnam and in Vietnam in general, for somebody who ordained before and then came back to lay life.
Nhưng đối với các cái truyền thống khác,
But in other traditions
các cái văn hóa khác thì
or in other cultures,
họ là không phải
for them, it wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't be a shame.
con nghĩ rằng trên chặng đường đi
I think that on our journey, of course, we will be wholehearted. We live to our full capacity so that we can realize fully our commitment or our aspiration.
và đương nhiên
And
con biết rằng
of
con
course,
là một người xuất gia
I
thì
know
con
that
gặp rất là nhiều
after I ordain to be a monk, I will have a lot of things to do for my practice.
phải cố gắng.
I put a lot of effort.
Cho nên để làm được điều đó
So in order
thì
to
không
do
phải
so,
là mình phải biết cái nương tựa và mình biết phải học hỏi.
we need to take refuge in the practice, in the community, and we need to put our heart into learning, studying.
để mình thấy con đường của mình mỗi ngày một
so
rõ
that
ràng hơn.
we can see our path clearer and clearer every day.
Thì giống như ở ngoài mình làm một cái công việc nào đó.
It is like outside when we do something, or like we work or we find a job. We also need to find someone like the teacher who we can learn from that person. We know that that person has the capacity to give us the conditions that we need in order to attain something. So that is like the first stage. Like if we want to find a path and we want to go on that path. And secondly, we should accept. We learn to accept. So in my case, if I want to become a monk, I also learn how to accept. Accept what will happen on my path, and that may make me feel swayed by those things that will happen later on my path. And thanks to this acceptance, my will becomes stronger, because I know that it's supposed to be like that. Obstacles and difficulties that will happen on our journey. If there are no obstacles, then we wouldn't have the motivation to put our heart to overcome. Like when we plant a tree, we plant a plant that it takes a lot of care and maintenance. But we are not sure whether we will be successful, because it depends on many elements, like the rain, sunshine, or the insects that help the plants to be strong. There are many other elements. So the success depends also partially on the merit, because the talent is one element to help us to be aware of the situation, to be aware of the issue. And then the merit is something that also contributes to make us become successful or not. Because the merit are like the favorable conditions that we have been transmitted from many, many generations. And if we see that we don't have enough those favorable conditions or merit, and we are encouraged to try to make more effort, to put more effort, to enrich the merit. We use our capacity to help ourselves and help others. We create conditions for the connections between ourselves and other people. So this work will help us, will bring like some favorable conditions to support us on our path. So being successful or not It's not just from our notion and the way we think, but it also starts from our action. So how we do, how we take action. Sometimes we don't know what we will do, but we need to take refuge. We need to learn how to take refuge. We take refuge in those who go before us on the path. Like a climbing vine cannot grow higher without knowing how to take refuge, to lean on something else. So the vine knows how to climb on a big tree, to reach to higher. So that is success. Thank you.
You can sit a little bit. So I just add very quickly.
Dạ, con chỉ
Thầy,
muốn
our
thêm một
teacher
chút.
taught
Sư
us
ông,
like when we get angry,
thầy
when
của
we
chúng
get
ta khi mà
a lot of feelings inside
khi
of
mà
us,
mình có những
don't
cái
make any decision.
bực mình, những cái cảm xúc đi lên trong mình thì mình
So I think the elements of clear mind and calm mind, that is the two elements that you have in that moment before you make very great, very big, important decision. That's why there's a lot of people want to make films, want to get married. They actually come to Plum to practice first before you go into that. Get married with someone, it means you live with someone. You open up to accept someone to your life, to change your life in that way. You make the movie about the practice about Thầy. You need to come to community of Thầy to practice to understand. Understand first in yourself, understand the others, and the objects that you want to go on. Yeah? So that's why also in our community, someone wants to approach to the program, aspirancy. At least come here for 3 months practice with us. After that, you write a letter. And that letter actually come from already 3 months of practices. And you reflect on that. You understand what you need. Really 100% you want to become aspirants. This is a big calling to me. It's really, I want to do that, Those kind of things is elements of understanding yourself. Solidity. Feel solid is mean you need to feel like, okay, I am in that clear mind, calm mind, and also listen to myself. That is my heart say that, okay, 100%, I want to do that. But just let you know that even someone have more 100%, or then 3 years, can be disrupted. So everything just only the dream, okay? Everything just only a dream. The dream make true is mean every step, every breath, you live with that. You really make the dream become true. So decision actually important every breath, every step. You already, before you say out your mouth, you're doing that already. The other day I have a wonderful concentration. Some friend asked me, I will write a letter and I will want to become aspirant. And then it's the right time to do it. And how can I prepare for myself? I want to share with him that, become aspirant or not become aspirant, when say yes, it's not important. But now, do you think that you live in such a way that you need to live, you walk, you sit in such a way that you look like you become aspirant? You feel very happy in that kind of thing. You show us that you really want to live it that way. And we know that you are the right person, can become the aspirant. But not like a decision like you become aspirant and you feel happy or not. And you feel satisfied or not. Because a lot of monastics as this form, they don't feel happy at all. Because become a monastic, you know how to nourish the happy monk, happy nun. For me, I live in the Sangha and become monk 20 years. Do I feel like I'm a happy monk? And when I look back, the decision as a teenager is become a young monastic. How can I nourish myself until I can survive now? And my smile, still smiling. You see? The everyday you notice just smiling is not, money cannot notice that smiling. You need to practice, you need to notice aspiration, okay? So I think elements of clear mind, calm mind, 100%, listen to your heart. Practice with your breathing step. But also another element is take refuge on the Sangha. Sometimes we need to ask and listen to the community. Can I do that? Is that the right thing to do? Listen also very important. That's why our community, any decision, not individually, but as collective, as a Sangha. So we listen and we listen again, and then we cannot make final decision. It's okay. Next day, another meeting. Yeah, so that is the thing, because the decision is not the final decision, maybe it cannot make the Sangha happy. So, but how can we do that? Make that the dream become the real life, real thing happening. So, thank you for your asking question. Yeah. Now it's 11:30. How do you think? Sangha decide. Can we end now, or we can open for one more question? One more. Sangha happy, do like this. You see? Yeah, that's the way we make decision. Okay, please come to sit. So when I talk, you don't feel anxious and you don't feel get angry and you see? You feel pleasant. Okay, please come, my friend.
Thank you, Sangha, brother and sister, venerable ones. I'm aware that we're running short on time. I'd like to address a brief question on behalf of the conflict, global conflicts, such as Ukraine and Russia, and that applies to those past conflicts for many years. For example, my sister, she often would share excerpts or parts from her journal entry, how she views world leaders and wars in a negative light. And that goes the same with our family. We like to be well informed on the media in general, and which leads me to this complex and difficult question. How do we see the good qualities of enemies and ally? And considering that we know that it is an unstable world, and understanding that wars and conflicts are fundamental aspects, one of them in human nature. And how do we apply compassion and even practicing equanimity, knowing that all conflicts are conditioned, and what do we hope to see the good in enemy and ally, and perhaps consider their suffering as valuable. Thank you for answering my question first and foremost, and I'm honored to participate.
Yes, Sangha, thank you for staying. Thank you for your questions. I think this is a question for all of us, also for myself. How do we stay fresh and compassionate, loving and caring when I know the person next to me is disturbing my peace? I think a bigger picture is that's why we ordain, so that we can be in a sangha like this, so that we do this together. We practice, cultivate compassion, peace, and freshness together. Because I know that there are times that that's what I wish to be, but there are times I cannot do it. So being in a sangha like this, they carry me, like I'm on a boat. And if I cannot paddle, then there will be now we have 35 sisters in our hamlet. There will be other 34 people that paddle for me when my hands are too tired. So I think one thing is to be in a sangha, a community that has the same aspiration as we do. And that is a big help to nurture our compassion so that we can continue to do what we want to do deep down in our hearts. As an individual, we can do the same, but maybe there was a teaching that our brother taught the kids over the summer, and I thought was adult can do too, is how to be fresh like a flower. The brother asked us to, once a while we look in the mirror and we smile to ourselves. We smile to yourself, exactly. I see that since the time you sat on that chair, and now you're already different. You look more fresh now. So our feelings and our attitude and perception change based on how we want to be. And you're smiling because all of us in this hall cultivate that together. I'm sharing the practice of smiling and everyone is doing it. So that also helps mirror what you want to do. So as an individual, we can do that on our own too. And whenever we feel we're shortage of compassion, shortage of freshness, shortage of solidity, we come back to the bigger body, which is the Sangha. And you know that we're here. So whenever you need that, you just come. And you go back and you do the same. And you just come back. I think the hard part is to remember to come back. The hard part is to remember to come back to that smile. And the hard part is to come back to the bigger Sangha when we need it. Because sometimes when we are got carried away by our feelings or emotion, we forget. We forget, and all we do is just ruminate in that feelings. So just remember to come back. Yeah.
I have one more thing, and you ask how can we see the positive point in the person we feel that enemy. What we can do first is we very friendly, very our good point, our own good point first. Our good points can, if we take care of them carefully, and we nourish our good seeds in us blooming. And look like here. Are you long term here for 3 months? Anyway, not long term. Yeah, coming back to the practice, and we take care of we nourish, we feed the good seeds in us by mindfulness, by happiness things. When we eating, when we breathing, or when we stepping, walking, we in the mindfulness. And with the sangha, we are nourished a lot from the sangha, and we know that our good sister expand to the sangha, and the good seeds from the sangha they have the community, they have love, they have compassion. Look like the Buddha in the sangha very big, and they open and they carry us and they feed us by mindfulness. And with us, if we practice mindfulness enough, we connect, we expand, we get through, we let our good seeds get along with the energy of the sangha, of the community. One day is also the true day, the nourishing day. So take care of good seeds in us with the sangha, and we feel that that is the things we can do now. Look like if you are in the family, we can nourish good seeds in our own and in the family together, and that is the thing we can do you can do in the present with our own practice. And talking about the enemy, maybe is so big things, big picture for us to influence. But we have family, we have practice, we have mindfulness, we have breathing, and we have walking, and we do together with the family, and we do together with the sangha. That is the biggest, the things we can work now first. And if you are blooming as flower, and our happiness is the sangha happiness. We can, with the meditation, with the breathing, we can expand and embrace by spirit the things so big around far from us. We can embrace. A moment, a little bit. We connect in order our heart and our acceptance can accept the things we can do now first. Thank you.
So, dear Sangha, thank you so much for your questions and listening. So let us listen to 3 sound the bell. We can end our session, because the next activity we need to do the 5 mindfulness training recitation together. Okay. Sit beautifully. Follow your breathing.